The evening sun painted the surface of the Sea of Galilee in a brilliant, shimmering gold, like a blanket of scattered diamonds. A small boat drifted along peacefully, carried by a gentle breeze. On board, Jesus slept soundly in the stern, his head resting on a cushion. His disciples, meanwhile, were either steering the boat or mending their nets, enjoying the rare, serene moment. But the peace was as fragile as a sheet of ice, and it shattered in an instant. On the horizon, clouds as black as ink bled across the sky, swallowing the last of the sunset's colors. The soft whisper of the wind transformed into an angry roar, and the calm sea erupted into a frenzy of churning waves. The little boat became a helpless toy, tossed about by the raging tempest. It groaned and creaked under the strain as water poured over the sides, flooding the cabin. Panic seized the disciples. Even the experienced fishermen among them were at a loss. Peter and Andrew bailed water frantically, but the sea filled the boat faster than they could empty it. John and James clung to the ropes, trying to steady the vessel, but all their efforts were futile against the storm's fury. Fear was etched onto every face. The shadow of death loomed over them all. They looked toward the stern, where Jesus was still asleep, seemingly oblivious to the chaos. This sight turned their terror into a mix of desperation and anger. "Teacher, don't you care that we're about to drown?" they shouted, their voices swallowed by the wind's roar. Jesus awoke. He sat up slowly, with no hint of alarm. He looked at the pale faces of his disciples and spoke with a voice that was calm, yet tinged with a gentle rebuke. "Where is your faith?" Then he stood up and faced the storm. He didn't perform any dramatic show of power. He simply stretched out his hand, and his voice, piercing through the wind's howl and the waves' crash, commanded, "Quiet, be still." A miracle unfolded. The very moment Jesus finished speaking, the furious winds ceased their howling, and the rampaging waves instantly calmed. The sea's surface was smoothed, as if by an invisible hand, becoming as still as a mirror. The water that had been sloshing in the boat's cabin was now motionless. An eerie silence fell over them, broken only by the disciples' ragged breaths. They stared at the scene in stunned disbelief, their fear replaced by a profound awe. They looked at each other and whispered, their voices filled with wonder, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." They finally understood that the man in the boat was not just a teacher, but a divine being with power over nature itself. In the wake of their boundless fear and despair, a new reverence and hope began to take root in their hearts.